Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. And I didn't have a Zen Fit this morning until a friend of mine was talking about how he lost his job. He was worked at a dog center or something, where rescue dogs or something, and they were all his pets. And he got fired, and he was talking about the loss of that. And it got me thinking about the Zen of dogs. Particularly dogs, cats too. But if there's one thing everyone on Facebook has in common, is the grief when the pet dies. The loss of one's dog or cat is greater than the loss of people, I think, for most, because, and it's really expressed on Facebook quite a bit. This. And these our pets have a shelf life, so we're get one and we lose it and get one another. So but I got to thinking about what is the Zen of dogs, particularly, or pets. Now, by the Zen of something, what I mean by that is what makes it fit. There's a question like why do people grieve so much when they lose their dog? That's, it's just a dog. We don't grieve when we lose a cow. We don't grieve when cars get wrecked, but if it's my car, I grieve. In other words, there's so dogs die, we see roadkill. Animals die, they're just, roadkill. See, there's a dead dog, But if it's my dog, there's tremendous grief. And so I want to, why is that? It's just an animal. It's just an it, But your dog isn't an it. Your dog isn't an object. There's something greater than just the it mind. You see, I talk a lot about this, where the way we know the world is through language and in the subject-object relationship. So everything's an it. Everything is something. Everything is an object, you see. This was in Avatar, this was the sky people. Everything is an it. The Navi's an it, the home tree's an it. It's all trees, it's just trees. They're just natives, They're just its. We objectify it and name them. So we name our pet, but the pet isn't an it. Our dog isn't an it. There's something transcendent here. There's something that transcends language. The dog doesn't speak, yet we relate to the dog, transcendent of language. So maybe that's it. We relate to our dog because the dog doesn't have language. Even our kids have language, when they learn to talk, So then we relate to the child through the language, but the dog doesn't have a language. Yet we relate to the dog. We know the dog. We are the dog. We're at home with our dog. There's a oneness there. There's a oneness that's two. See, language creates two. Thinking creates two. Consciousness creates two. I'm conscious of something. That's two. I'm conscious of an object. That's it. So our dogs transcend, my dog, your dog, transcends consciousness. And we kind of like meet the dog in an intermediate zone that is beyond words, that is beyond language. This intermediate zone. You could say it's upstream of consciousness, of it, you see. So our relationship with the dog is upstream of our relationship with the world, which is a bunch of its. Objects, you see. But when we relate to the world as a bunch of objects, that leaves the I alone. I know its, but the I is alone. The I is outside of everything. If you know the world is its, you name it. Whatever it is, you name it. What is it? Well, it's a cow, it's a horse. It's a finger, whatever. We go through I can go through this whole room here, you see, and name everything in here. Everything here's got to know. Everything in here is an it. So the it just kind of like sums it all up, you see. It is an object that is named. We name our dog, but that isn't the relationship. So the relationship with the dog is not the same as a relationship with some object, you see. There's something transcendent with dogs. And cats too. And cats too. But so what is that? So I question that. What's going on? Well, the one common thing we know about our dogs is that our dog loves us unconditionally, no matter how we are, no matter what we've done, no matter what we look like, no matter what we feel, the dog is home. The dog is home. We come home to the dog. The dog welcomes us unconditionally, innocently, you see. The dog is innocence. The dog recognizes us and welcomes us, tail going, so happy to see us, you see. So happy to welcome me. I talked about my relationship with my father. He never wagged his tail when he saw me. He was never happy to see me. But our dog is, you see. So that relationship is unconditional. Unconditional. Unconditioned mean without limitations, without boundaries, without the discriminating mind. See, the discriminating mind is the way we deal with the world. Is this good or bad, up or down, in or out? It's always a choice, and it could be better, could be worse. We weigh everything. You see, the dog doesn't weigh anything. The dog doesn't weigh us to see, if he's going to be happy to see us or not. The dog is always happy to see us. So the dog meeting us outside of language is that we are outside of language when we're with the dog. When I'm with my dog or cat, I'm outside of language, of consciousness even. The dog is the universe in a form just for me. In other words, the universe, the whole cosmos, takes the form of my dog. It's like it personalized the universe. My dog is a personalized universe that allows me to relate to being, the vast being that has no mind or no separation or no obstacles. So I can relate to the vastness and the love of God or being through my little dog, you see. That's why we feel at home with the dog. The dog is home. The dog is the manifestation of the great being in the form of a little dog. And the dog loves us. So we get the feeling that God loves us, or the universe loves us, or the world loves me, without conditions. I don't have to do anything to earn the love of a dog. I don't have to do yoga and Buddhism. I don't have to attain it. I don't have to attain the love of the dog. The dog loves me whether I meditate or not. Doesn't care. That's so being at home with the dog is being at home with ourselves, you see. So I and the dog are one, that is two, you see. And this one that is two is upstream of language. It's upstream of consciousness. This little consciousness created by words and language and concepts that we live in, the good and the bad, you see. So the dog and I transcend duality. So the dog is a portal to my own being through the dog. And this is a metaphorical relationship. I am able to be at home with myself through the dog. Through the dog, you see. So the dog is something I can hold that is formless, because I'm formless. As long as I have a form, I think, well, then it's going to be a good or bad form, or it could be better, or it's getting old, or the form's going to die. So this formless is the core of existence. Existence or being is formless, but it takes the form of things, and it takes the form of my dog as a metaphor or portal into my own being. This is kind of like a reciprocal type of thing. It's kind of like this ambiguity here. All right, suppose this were the old hag. Suppose the hag is the dog and the princess. You see the princess is eye and cheek and chin. You see the hag's eye and her nose. You see the nose of the hag is the chin of the bride. So suppose the hag is the dog, or the dog is the princess, and you are the hag. Okay, well, they're different. You're different from the dog, but can you separate them? No, you can't separate the dog from the person. You can't separate the dog from the master. Who is the master? There's no master-slave here. You know, the dog and its owner, the dog and you, let's put it in that frame, the dog and you are different, but they cannot be separated because they meet beyond I and it, I and objects. You and the dog meet in a transcendental space that is beyond thinking, that is beyond I, it, you see. And this transcendental place is unconditioned by the mind. So this is why we grieve, you see, because we've lost the greatest thing we've ever had, which is unconditional love. Now the trick is, the zen of it is to go beyond the pet and have that kind of relationship with the world itself. So the pet is fine, but you don't need the pet in order to have an unconditional relationship with the world. So we let the pet go at some point, so we can have the relationship with the world as we have with the dog. You see, so we slip the surly bounds of language and become one with the world. So the world is always wagging its tail and jumping when it sees me. Thanks for dropping in.